Okay, here's the next part of our special right triangles. I've shown you here some of the formulas and stuff. I know it's kind of confusing, but you just have to be very meticulous and very methodical in going through it. The equations are not hard, but you just have to be methodical about what you have and what you want to find. So let me just explain here a little bit. I've shown obviously what kind it is. I've shown the relationships dealing with x and the hypotenuse being x squared root of 2. Remember, the legs are the same on a 45. And then I've written it out kind of in words with the leg, and this one will be leg squared root of 2. The little formula, this hypotenuse right here, equals leg squared root of 2. That's what that's showing right there. I can manipulate this formula around that if I want to find the leg. If I know the hypotenuse and I want to find the leg, all I have to do is put the hypotenuse here times square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so again, it just depends on what you have and what you're trying to find. So on a 30, 60, 90, here's the relationships dealing with x. So the short leg is x, hypotenuse is 2x, and the long leg is x square root 3. Here's the relationship dealing with words here. So I've got the short leg and the long leg hypotenuse, and here are the formulas for the hypotenuse and the long leg. So hypotenuse is short leg times 2, and the long leg is the short leg times square root of 3. Those can be manipulated around that if I want to find the short and I know the hypotenuse, all I have to do is divide it by 2. If I know the long leg and I want to find the short, I'm going to take the long leg, whatever number they give me, times the square root of 3 over 3, and that will tell me what the short leg is. Okay, so let's do a couple here on this this next page. I've got a couple circled here that I want to do. You can go ahead and cross off number 19, just for a freebie. Let's do these couple and then we will move on. So number 10, I've got 45, 45, so I know what group to look at now. I have a leg that is x, a leg that is y, and hypotenuse is 28. Okay, so if you look over on my sheet here, hypotenuse is the leg square root of 2. But if I want to find the leg, all I have to do is take the hypotenuse, which in this case is 28, square root of 2 divided by 2. So to find the leg, I'm going to take the hypotenuse, square root of 2 divided by 2. 28 divided by 2 is 14. That's my leg, and that's my other leg, because they're both the same. Number 11. Okay, so that's these formulas here. Let's move this over here a little bit. So if I look what I have, the 16 is the hypotenuse. Okay, 16 is the hypotenuse. The relationship between the hypotenuse and the short is times 2 or divided by 2, depending on which way you're going. So to go from the hypotenuse to the short, I'm going to divide by 2. So 16 divided by 2 gives me 8. 8 is the short on this picture. Short is the y. So that makes this one 8. The long leg, which is represented by x, is taking the short times the square root of 3. Or you can look down here. To get the long leg equals the short square root of 3. The short is 8, square root of 3. Let's skip over here to number 15. So this is another one where they're giving me the hypotenuse. So in my formulas, I said if I want to find a leg, which x and y are the legs, I take the hypotenuse. Sorry, that's just going to kind of make it a little bit complicated, but we can do it. I'll do it two ways. So if we do this little formula here, leg equals the hypotenuse, which is 9 square root of 2, times square root of 2 over 2. So this is the hypotenuse times the square root of 2 over 2. Okay, now look what happens. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 cancels out, so the leg is 9. So both legs are 9. The other way you could do it is using this formula here, where the hypotenuse equals 9 square root of 2 equals x square root of 2. Divide both sides by the same thing to get x by itself. X equals 9. Okay, number 16. Okay, identify, I have the long leg is 6. Okay, so I have the long leg. That's going to be the short times square root of 3. Or I can use this one, the short, which on this picture, the short is the y. So y is going to equal long 6 square root of 3 over 3. So the short, this is the long. So the short leg, which is the y, equals the long, which is 6 square root of 3 over 3. Now, again, I can, when I simplify these, I can go number and square root and square root. I can't mix a square root and a number, but I can mix up a number and a number. So 6 divided by 3 is 2 times square root of 3. Now, what is that? That's y, 2 square root of 3. That's the short leg, 2 square root of 3. To find the hypotenuse, which is x, I take the short, 2 square root of 3 times 2, or double it. That gives me 4 square root 3. Number 18. So on this one, we've got the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always twice as much as the short, so that's going to make that 19. So the hypotenuse equals the short divided by, short times 2. Divide both sides by 2. X equals 19. The long leg equals the short times square root of 3. Done. Have my answer. Okay. So let's stop there and we'll do number 20 in the last little video here.